What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. We're focusing on the St. Louis Blues landing Ryan O'Reilly from the Buffalo Sabres in exchange of Patrick Berglund, former Boston Bruins legend Vladimir Sobotka, Tage Thompson, and a first-round pick next year, in addition to a second-round pick in 2021. Quite the haul for O'Reilly. And, we'll start with talking about Ryan O'Reilly. He's one of those guys I've always liked as a player, but I just feel like the rest of the league kind of overrates him. His career high point 64 in the 2014 season, where Colorado drastically overachieved. 61 points last year with the Sabres. And, obviously great defensive forward. Incredible on faceoffs. Kind of a Patrice Bergeron light, if you will. And I thought, honestly, he was going to be part of the rebuild in Buffalo as they kind of try to get it right this time. And you look at, when Buffalo was really in the midst of their tanking, they went out, they acquired Evander Kane, they acquired Ryan O'Reilly because they figured having these young veterans, if you will, both members of the 2009 NHL draft, would kind of help the Eichels and the Rasmus Ristolainen of the world, eventually the Rasmus Dahlins of the world. They also didn't figure they were going to suck for as long as they did, as mentors and effective players on this team. And obviously that hasn't been the case for the player. Evander Kane's in San Jose right now. O'Reilly's in the gateway to the West. And the Sabres are kind of right back where they started. Now, again, Buffalo is in an ideal situation. Anytime you can have Jack Eichel and Rasmus Dahlin, you're in a pretty good spot. But it took them being fucking atrociously irrelevant for the last 7 years to get to this point. But the haul they got back, I like Berglund. I think he's a good middle six forward in the NHL. I love Vladimir Sobotka's game. I've been a fan of him since he was a Bruin. They traded Sobotka 8 years ago. Wow. And then Tage Thompson, I've been high on since his days with the development team. He's a hell of a player. He's going to be a good, probably 20-goal power forward. I like him a lot. I mean, that size, you can't teach size. And he took his lumps going up and down between the AHL and the NHL, but he's a very good player, and I think he's going to be an effective NHL player. And maybe see him and Jack Eichel play together, maybe as a kind of big net front presence for Ike. And then those two picks, I mean, you get a first and a second. I mean, that first round pick's not going to be too high, but they have 3 picks next year at Buffalo. They have the Sharks pick, their own pick, and the Blues pick. And I know the Blues and the Sharks picks will be later on, but you still have some good capital going into next year's draft. And that's back in 2021. So Buffalo, good haul for them. And then O'Reilly, I mean, I think in St. Louis, I think he fits in well. I think he's a very good player. He's got experience in the Western Conference. He's played in the playoffs in the Western Conference twice. And, obviously, St. Louis traded away a former Colorado Avalanche center at the deadline. We'll talk about Stastny later. But I think he's a good fit. I think they gave up a lot to get him. But I think he's going to fit in very well with what they're doing in St. Louis. And, he's a guy fans are really going to like. Again, he's not Bergeron. And I know coming into the league, that's who he reminds a lot of people of. Not me, but because Patrice Bergeron is Jesus Christ, and unless you can walk on water and convert water into Bud Light, then you're not Patrice Bergeron. You're not in the same zip code as him. But again, you can do a lot worse as him with him in that role. And you look at some of the whether it's Tarasenko he gets a look with, or if David Perron's back there. I mean, that could be a really effective line, something like that. But we'll keep it in mind. Keep an eye on it. Robbie Fabry's coming back healthy next year, hopefully, and they added Tyler Bozak, so they kind of strengthen themselves down the middle. They're going to be they'll be a playoff team in the West. I know they missed it this year, but they have an O'Reilly and Bozak to that kind of nucleus with some of the talented other guys they have. And again, Fabry coming back from injury, God willing, he's healthy. Perron coming back for his third stint with the Blues. Braden Shen had a great first year in St. Louis last year. Steen's a great player. Go on all day about how much I love Tarasenko's game. So they're going to be an interesting team in the West, and I think the pieces that the Sabres got back in the O'Reilly, honestly, when it first came down, I thought the Sabres robbed them blind. But then you think about what O'Reilly's body work is and where he fits with St. Louis and where Buffalo is, and you're like, you know what? This has the potential to be a very good deal for both sides, because I think St. Louis is thinking to get back to the playoffs next year, which O'Reilly will help them do more so than some pieces they gave up. So anyway, that's all I got this episode of the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for more episodes for the off season and beyond. Later, guys.